Hello, dear friends. Welcome to A Lovely Yarn. We are in the deep depths of winter here where I live in Western Pennsylvania. And it has been quite a challenge for me. So I thought I would just document a few of our days and just talk a little bit about what I've been doing to kind of help me through these gray, dark, very snowy, very cold days of winter. If you are not interested in the vlog portion of this, I actually do sit down and do more of a regular style podcast. I will leave the timestamp on the screen here, and you can go ahead and skip forward to that. Winter has always been a struggle for me. And it's not so much the cold. I actually really love snow. One of my favorite things to do in the winter is to go out and walk in the snow. I just love the brilliance of it, the white, the brightness. I love the crunch of it under my feet. I love the look of it when it sticks to the pine trees. However, the grayness is what really gets me. And I think I have struggled with winter blues or maybe even seasonal affective disorder since I was in high school, maybe even younger. I can think back now as an adult and think about how I felt at that time, which at the time I had no idea what was going on in my brain. But one thing I have learned over the years is that there are certain things that I can do this time of year to really help me to get through. One of the biggest things is just a mind shift for me, and it's just reminding myself that this time of the year is temporary. It's going to get warmer out, it's going to get green again, the sun's going to come back out. And even though it's not my favorite season, it is still a season with purpose. And once I kind of realized that, which I'm going to be honest, it was just within the last couple of years, it made wintertime a lot easier. I've talked about this before on other podcast episodes, but my natural inclination is not to go into January roaring. I like to go into January kind of like nature does here in our part of the Northern Hemisphere, and that is a little bit more gently, a little bit more slowly, allowing myself the rest that my body needs after a busy spring, summer, and fall. And it's okay if I feel differently. I used to really beat myself up and think there's something wrong with me, that I want to kind of, draw into myself a little bit more. I don't have the desire to go out and do a bunch of things. And that's okay. That's okay. I had to accept that, and that made it a lot easier. Another thing that I have found really important is just getting out in nature every day. And having a 1-year-old English Springer Spaniel has made that so much easier. For probably the past 7 to 8 years, I have made it a point to go out every day, no matter the weather, and walk. And I invested in good winter gear so that I'm not cold. I knitted myself some really warm pieces, and it's actually part of my day that I really look forward to. And now with my dog Tilly, I'm actually going out at least 3 times a day, and I'm spending at least an hour outside each time. And that has been great for my mindset, just getting out, because this time of year when you're stuck in the house more, you can feel a bit claustrophobic. So getting out, getting whatever kind of natural sunlight there is, and some of that fresh, crisp air is actually really helpful for me. I also try to look at this time of the year as time for me to focus more on my creative habits. So my knitting, crocheting, baking. I definitely enjoy cooking and baking more this time of the year. whatever it is that I feel like doing. And oftentimes this is when I will maybe look into starting to learn about a new craft or a new form of creativity, because I naturally just have more time in the winter. Spring, I start to get busy because I am a gardener. So spring and summer, my time is filled a lot with gardening and all the other things we do outdoors. So this time of the year naturally gives me more time to learn new creative hobbies. Exercise is so important to my mental well-being. And so I have to make sure that beyond my walks outside, that I'm actually doing exercise, I'm working out. And for years, I've just used YouTube. I will use several different fitness apps. You don't have to pay anything to do it. You're not going to see this girl joining a gym. It's just there's nothing about that sounds pleasant at all. Do I enjoy working out? I really don't. I don't really enjoy it, but I enjoy how I feel afterwards. And so I do it. And it's really important to me now, as a 46-year-old woman who is in the midst of perimenopause, that I have changed my workout routine up a little bit. I focus less on cardio, and I am focusing more on lifting and body weight training, because I know that's going to serve me well at my current age. Some of the other things that maybe aren't quite as monumental in helping me through this time of year, but still have an impact for sure, are just little habits like eating well. Well, that's actually a really big one. And that's something that I've instituted the majority of my adult life, just because I do have various food allergies and intolerances. And then I know there are certain things that just don't make me feel well. Journaling is a big part of my life. It actually always has been, but I noticed that I become even more introspective this time of the year. Tilly. Oh, Tilly, it's so cold. It's so cold. And I think it's maybe because I'm in the house more, I'm more in my head. And so I just find it so necessary to just dump everything out. Also, a very big thing that is important in my life is to make sure I'm taking time every day to get into God's Word, studying that. And that helps me a lot, particularly since I do tend to deal a lot with anxiety, unfortunately. So that's helpful for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this maybe gave you a few pointers or ideas in case you also struggle with the winter blues. Hi friends, welcome to A Lovely Yarn podcast. So I'm pretty sure that you probably already saw some vlog style video before this. Now I'm going to do what I would consider to be a more like sit down and talk about my knits, what I'm working on. I have a couple of books that I want to share. And so yes, let's just get started with that. As you probably would have seen, we've had a lot of snow. You would have seen this from the vlog beginning. We have had a lot of snow here, and it has been very gray. Now today is full sun. It's so sunny, in fact, that I had to pull down a blind because when I was sitting here, the sun was shining in and blinding me. So it is so nice to have the sun today. I love it so much. I have 2 finished objects. I have I have a scarf, a crocheted scarf that I want to share with you that I made last winter that I have been wearing this winter, and I love it, and I'm thinking about making another one. And then I have one work in progress that is active. I actually have lots of whips, and I'm trying to reassess how I'm going to work through those. I did that a little bit at the beginning of fall last year, and then I got a few done, and then it kind of like fizzled out. So I want to do that again, but I'm not going to be showing any of those shelved, like the ones I have on the shelf. Those whips, I got to figure that out still. Anyway, and like I said, I have a couple of books. One is brand new. It's a brand new embroidery book. Well, brand new to me. But it's something I've wanted since last summer, I think. Yes, last summer. Anyway, let's get started. First of all, I always forget to mention this, but you can find my Instagram profile linked down below. I'm not super active on there. I would say I'm probably more active in the stories, my story section of Instagram, but even that, I'm just not super active there. You'll find me posting most here, which even that, it's January, folks. So Amber is in her hibernation mode. So where a lot of times I'll do a podcast every week, I just haven't had it in me this month, but that's okay. Anyway, and then I have my email down there. Sometimes you guys will send me emails, which I always enjoy reading and responding to. And then I also have a link to Ko-Fi if you would like to leave a donation for the channel. And I thank you very much for those of you who have donated. Now, I also forgot to mention this. Everything I talk about, patterns, yarns that I can link, all of that's good stuff. Any like books or other podcasting channels and that kind of stuff, I always link that down below in the video description. So you can check that space out to get actual links to where the things are that I'm talking about. Now, let's start first with what I'm wearing. This is a toasty. I love this outfit. This is like the perfect winter outfit. I just have it on with a pair of jeans. It is my Dreyma sweater. This is a pattern by Jennifer Steingass, and this is the third time I've made this sweater. And I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I just did a whole bunch of podcast episodes in which I discussed this back in the fall of 2025. So, but I will mention that because I will have people ask, I'm sure, I knit it in Drops Air, and I still have some of the colorways. So you can see the sun. It's wonderful. And the blue color is color number 45, and the creamy beige, like off-white color is number 2. So that is what I knit this Dreyma in. I love it. I love Drops Air. I use it a lot. I know some people don't care to use Drops products, but I find them to be a very good price point for my budget. And I also think that of all the ones that I've used, I think I have been happy with every type of Drops Air that I have used. As far as like wear and how it feels and stuff. This is a nice warm sweater, but I don't find it overwhelmingly warm. The Drops Air, if you're not familiar, I'll just tell you real quick. It is a blown yarn, which means it has like a polyamide netted tube, and then alpaca and let's see what kind of alpaca, baby alpaca and merino wool is blown into it, which gives it this nice, oh boy, I'm not gonna be able to get up close to my camera, but it gives it like a nice halo. Okay, so, and then, my scarf, my little scarf, because the thing about this sweater, I think I actually always have knit it with the rolled edge because I like the look of it with this first band of color work. However, it does make a fairly wide neck, which some people would like that. If I would knit a ribbed collar on here, like just the regular ribbing, it would pull this up a bit more, but I always knit this pattern with that particular rolled neckline. But it is very cold today, so I just tied this little scarf around my neck. And this scarf pattern is called an Italian summer scarf. It is by an Italian knitter. She has a podcast, so I'll link that down below. And then I'll also link the pattern on Ravelry. It is a free pattern. It is a lovely pattern. Actually, I should take it off and show you real quick, and you can see like the shape of it, because it's very similar to the a lot of these little scarves that are really popular right now. And it has these yarn overs that give this really pretty, it like alternates ribbed, or not ribbed, garter ridge with these eyelets. This yarn is not a wool yarn. It is a summer yarn. Can I remember the name of it? No, I cannot remember the name of it. I didn't even write it in my book. I thought I knit this last year, and last year I was really good at keeping track of stuff in my knitting journal, but I don't have it written down in here. So I'm wondering if I knit it in 24. And I'm thinking it was a Quince & Co. summery yarn, but I don't know for sure. I'm almost thinking this is the same yarn as I knit my Rift in. And that I knit in Quince & Co. Oh boy. Something. And the colorway was Hawser. I'll see if I can find that information, because this is a really, really nice yarn. But it's also nice. I mean, I know it's made with like a summery material, but it's actually pretty perfect for what I want in my house. Like just to have my neck warmed a little bit. It works perfectly for that. I wouldn't want a big wool, like really warm thing on my neck in the house. I'm wearing this in the house. Okay, so that is what I'm wearing. Now I want to show you my first finished object, which is almost finished. I almost can't say it's finished, but it is, except for buttons. And I need to look through my buttons, because I may need to order buttons for this. I do have a huge button stash, because I inherited my grandmother's button jar. And so I have so many buttons, and they're all vintage, but they're all mismatched. So I don't want mismatched buttons on this sweater. I already decided that. But this is the Felix cardigan by Amy Christophers. I was going to wear it, and then I thought, no, I always like to show it before I wear it on my podcast, because I like to hold it up and show things like that might be harder to do when I'm wearing it. But I will put a little clip in here showing you of it, showing me wearing it, so you can see how it lays. I'm so happy with this. I love this pattern. It's another one that I've knit over and over, and I'm not going to wax on about it because I did that in my last episode. You can check that one out if you want to hear more about the details. But I will say that I knit this in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Long Johns colorway. I used a little over, a little over 5 skeins. And I have, and also I knitted on the size US 9 and 7, which I film on my phone. I don't know what that is in millimeters off the top of my head. So I'll put that down below, like in my notes, so you can see what those needle sizes are. I apologize. I know that you guys like when I do that, but I don't use the metric system with the knitting needles a lot. And so I forget the number, especially needles I don't use. You know what I mean? I don't use size 9 and 7 a lot. So I'll look them up and I'll put them down below. I can't do it right now because I'm filming on my phone, so I would need to look on my phone. Okay, so anyway, I love this. This is my first time knitting with the shelter. And unfortunately, I'm so sad actually that it is no longer produced because it blocked so beautifully. Now, this was pretty, I would say it's not a super smooth yarn as far as like, there is some variability, not an extreme amount, but in how it's spun. So it is like before I blocked it, it was a little lumpy bumpy, my knitting. And it's still slightly lumpy bumpy, like you can see. See, it's got some texture, and that's because of how the yarn is spun up. But when I blocked this yarn got so soft. It was amazing. It wasn't like super scratchy to begin with, but it's definitely softened up a lot. And I had heard that about this particular yarn. And so that was a very nice surprise. Another thing that I was extremely impressed about is that there was like, I would say there was hardly any red dye in my blocking water, which was so very impressive. Usually when I block red knitted items, you get a lot of red dye coming off into your water. There was maybe like a beige tint to the water, and I was so impressed by that. So anyway, I knit the size 1 for this. I was going to knit the size 2, but then I decided that the 1 would be better for me because my gauge was a little bit different than the pattern's recommended gauge. And I talked about all that stuff in my last podcast episode. You can look at that. And yeah, that is all. That is all I'm going to say about it other than the buttons. I may have some matching wooden buttons. I need 6 buttons, and I may have them downstairs, but I don't think I do. So downstairs is where my little crafting room or studio is. And so I need to check that out. And if not, I would really love to look on Holland Hoof's website. I have bought buttons off of them before. Actually, that's where I bought the buttons for my last Felix cardigan that I knit. They have clay buttons, they have wooden buttons, they have antler buttons. All of their buttons are handmade. And they have beautiful handmade clay buttons. And oh my gosh, they're just so gorgeous. They're so gorgeous. So I may end up looking on there for them. But we will see. We will see. I'm not going to rush. If I have ones I can use, I will use them. But I don't want to just throw any old button on here that I don't really like. So we'll see. Yeah, but that is my Felix cardigan by Amy Christophers. Lovely pattern. And I love it knit up in that. Like I said, I wish I would have used the Brooklyn Tweed Shelter before they stopped producing it, because I would have stocked up. Like when I knew their production was done, I would have just looked for it places and bought some, because it's a really nice, sturdy yarn that blocks very nicely. I want to show you something very unfortunate though. This was my 6th skein. Wait, 6? Hold on, let me think about this. Maybe I used 6 and then a little bit of a 7th. This was my extra skein, but it was actually a skein that I had all caked up and ready to go. Last week I came back from church and this was in my entryway. Puppy Tilly had gotten it. Now, when she was very young, I mean, it's shredded. It is shredded. It's just shredded into pieces. And because of the way this yarn is spun, it does pull apart quite easily. So I think she was just gnawing on it and it just into so many pieces. But what was I going to say? Oh my goodness. Oh, when she was a puppy, she used to get my yarn off the lower shelves. I have another bookcase over there that has yarn on it. She would get it and she would pull it off and chew on it. So I had to block off my bookcases that have my yarn on it. Well, she hasn't done that forever, but this is what happened. I had balls of yarn caked up and I had it in the project bag. And when I put the project bag down on the floor, one of them must have fallen out. And then I took the project bag to church. And then she got that skein of yarn, that cake of yarn that was sitting there. I'm just so glad that it wasn't like the sweater. I did run out of yarn on the ribbing for the second sleeve. So what I ended up doing is just spit splicing probably 6-7 segments of this, because I have one full skein, but I haven't even put it into I haven't caked it up or anything. So I wanted to save that in case I want to use it for a different project. This is going to be put into stuffing. I'll just keep this and stuff things with it, because there's just such small pieces that it's really a pain. It would be a pain to make anything out of this. She knew she was in trouble though. As soon as I saw it, her tail went between her legs and she ran under the bed. So okay, now my next finished object is a pair of fingerless mittens that I made for my daughter for her birthday, which is next month. So these are I haven't given them to her yet. She does know I'm making her a pair of fingerless mitts, but she doesn't know what they look like. So let me show you how cute they are. Oops, I'll hold them back. Okay, so these are the Point Edward mitts. Let me look in my knitting journal. Yeah, this is a free pattern by Fairlight Fibers, and I knit this using Farmer's Daughter fibers. It's the colorway is called Sights on the Horizon. It's her Elkhorn sock base, and this was part of her sock squad. I belonged to that last year, where you would get a sock set every month. This was part of that. I received it. I held the yarn double, so this is what I have left of it. I haven't weighed it out yet, but there's still quite a bit left. I might even have half left, like enough to make another pair, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I held this double. And the pattern calls for 1x1 twisted rib, but as I mentioned last week, I did a 2x2 ribbing on the bottom and on the top. So let me put it on and show you. This pattern is made so that you can fold this down, or, which I anticipate that's how she would wear it most of the time, or you can flip it up and kind of cover your fingertips and for more warmth. I actually want to cast on a pair of these for myself. This was a fun, relaxing pattern to do. So I think what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to show you. I think I'm going to take this and hold it double with this other yarn that I'll just show you the yarn. This is from another project I'm currently doing. Can I get close enough to, I don't want to move my camera. So I think I might hold those two together and make another pair for myself because they're so squishy and warm and very cozy, and I love them a lot. She's gonna love them a lot too. I think this pattern calls, it's just for one size, but I think you could mess around with it. It's just such a basic fingerless mitt pattern that you would be fine to mess around and make it bigger. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to tell you about that. But she's going to love these. She is going to absolutely love them. And now I actually want to make a bunch of these. I want to make a bunch of them just to give as gifts, because I think that they would make such a perfect little gift. And as I do every year at Christmas, I get to November and I'm like, oh, I should make people gifts. And then I feel too overwhelmed by everything else that's going on so that I don't, or I do and then I'm really stressed. But most of the time I just don't anymore. So I thought if I could just get myself into the habit of making little things throughout the year, because I have so many ideas of hand knit gifts I want to give to the people who I'm really close to in my life, like people who I know would appreciate them and use the things and take care of them. But so I think I just need to work that into my regular knitting. So maybe this year I'm going to focus more on that, knitting smaller hand knit accessories and such to give as gifts, and maybe focus a little bit less on garments. But I don't know. That may not even happen because I really do like knitting sweaters. Okay, then let's go on to what I want to show you that I'm currently working on, and it is the Zigzag Magic Heel socks, which I'm test knitting for Judy of the Autumn Acorn. And let me grab my sock blockers. I did this last time too. Okay, so again, I talked about this in more depth in my last episode, but this is a special heel that I always do a heel flap and gusset. This actually is achieved going down a needle size and then doing alternating purls and knits on just like the heel portion. So this is what it looks like. Now, I tried this on because I finished the toe up, and so I wanted to try it on and see what I thought about it. And I think it's going to be fine. I think the real test is going to be when I wear it in my shoes. Like, is it going to pull down on the back of my heel? I have heard that it doesn't, But then I also had a viewer say that it kind of did for her, so she just wears them in the house as house socks. But I also don't, like, it was fine putting them on my foot just in the house, but I think I do still prefer the heel flap and gusset, which would be perfectly fine to sub in this pattern. Like, you could totally do that. It's not going to interfere with the way that the pattern's written, because the real beauty of this sock is this. Oh boy. Okay. This beautiful zigzaggy pattern. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to move the setup right now, but I think you can kind of get the idea here. It's really pretty. And so I think what I'll do when I knit this again, so this is my second sock. And I think what I'm going to do is use this leg portion, like use this, but then put on my regular heel flap and gusset. I think that'll probably be perfect for me. I'm really glad I tried this magic heel though. Maybe I'll change my mind once I wear them more and see, but I'm just like I so love the way a heel flap and gusset fits me that it's hard. Like, I've never even wanted to try a different heel until now. Like, until I started test knitting these for Judy, because I just was like, why change a good thing? You know, why fix what's not broken? That kind of mentality. And it wasn't about me not being adventurous in my knitting, because that's not an issue for me. It was more like, I really like how a heel flap fits my foot, so why change it? But we will see. But I will say that this is really fun to knit as well. It's a little bit addicting. Yeah. So this is knit with Sweet Sparrow Yarns Pajama Day. And when I recorded last time, I said I wasn't sure I think her name's Julie, if Julie was still around, because she used to be pretty active in the knitting community and she used to have a podcast. Someone left in the comments, someone had said that she does still have a website. So I'm going to look that up and I will link it down below. I don't know if it's like a web shop or if it's just more of a blog type website, but I will link that down below. And you just need 2 different needle sizes. So Judy had said that you should use a 1.5. She had recommended a 1.5 for like the patterned part, which I did. And then I did a 1, because I normally knit my socks on size 0, which is a 2 millimeter. Yeah. So what I ended up doing is using a US 1 or a 2.25 millimeter for this portion. And then you switched, when you start doing this heel and the rest of the foot, you switch down a needle size. So then I went down to the 0 or the 2 millimeter. Okay, I want to talk about the scarf that I have it's basically the scarf I'm wearing when I go out. So like when I go out nice places, not when I go out to walk the dog. When I go out to walk the dog, oh my gosh, I should grab that. I absolutely love that cowl. I wear it all the time. Okay, let's talk about this one first. This is the granny stripe cowl. No, the granny stripe shawl. And this pattern is by Moan of Crochet Objet. I knit this last winter. No, I crocheted it last winter. It's really hard for me to switch from knit to crochet because I knit so much more than I crochet. But anyway, this is a scrappy project. It uses fingering weight yarn, and it's just a granny stripe. And she does it with this, I forget the details of it, but she does it somehow so that it sets on your shoulders nicely without falling off. Something in how she does I think it's decreases or increases. It's increases. And I just went through my scraps and just didn't do a ton of color management, but I did do some. But it's just like a happy scrappy project. And it's just so nice and bright. I think that's why I chose it for my scarf right now, because it makes me happy because it's so nice and bright. I love it. I love the colors of it. I do want to make another one. I think I want to make the next one in more of a pastel type color motif or color like scheme. Do like lighter pale or pastel-y colors. Yeah, so we will see. Now I am going to pause and I'm going to grab that cowl because it is my most, well, it is one of my most worn knits right now. So I want to share that with you. Okay, so this is one of my most worn knits in the winter, every winter since I've made it. This is a pattern by Cozy Up Knits. It is called the Double Grande Wrap or Double Grande Cowl. Now I can't remember. Oh, look, you can see where I screwed my brioche. This brioche section, or no, that's not even brioche over there. It's okay. I don't even care. I don't even care. Anyway, yeah, this is a wonderful cowl pattern. And if you have single, like fingering weight singles, you know, like single ply, I think this is the perfect project for 2 skeins of fingering weight single ply yarn. That's what I used for this. And it is so stinking soft and cozy. And I double wrap this around my neck when I go out. This is how I've been going outside. I put on the full armor, including a neck heating pad that I warm up. It's like one of those rice packs. I warm it up in the microwave. I stick it in, tuck it down in my coat around my neck, and then this baby goes on double wrapped around it and it holds in the heat, and then I can pull it up over my face. I could pull it up over as a hood, but I always wear a hat and then I pull up my fur-lined hood that's on my coat. But I cannot tell you the yarn that I used for this because it has been ages since I got this yarn and I won it in a giveaway and I don't remember who made it. It was a indie dyer, but I don't even know. I don't know what it is. So I'm sorry, I can't share that with you. But this was such a fun knit and it's such a practical knit. My friend Jody of Flower Hill Fleeces, actually, she knit this first and then I loved her. So I made my own. I was very knit fluenced there, but it just has these different sections, which keeps it interesting. And then this is brioche and it's easy brioche. Despite the fact I did something there, it's easy brioche. So very nice cowl, great for your fingering weight single ply yarn. That is all for the knitting and crocheting. Now I want to, real quick for my plan. Okay, so my plan is to finish up my socks that I'm working on and then pick the Smoke Show vest back up. That's a pattern by Thea Coleman. I've talked about that maybe 2 episodes ago. Pick that back up. Start working on that. That will be a garment. I really need to cast on the sweaters that I'm making for my son and my daughter, but I'm still very overwhelmed by the thought of that sweater that I was going to make for my daughter. So I think I'm just avoiding. But I really want to work on my whips. I really want to work on getting that whip number down, which I did get it down, but I've also cast on some new ones. Oh, and the Creativity Cowl, which is a pattern by Tori Knits NYC. I have that almost done and I ran out of yarn. So I have the new yarn, so I need to finish that as well. So hopefully you'll be seeing those whips as finished objects on the next several episodes. Okay, I want to show you 2 books. One is a novel and one is an embroidery book. Now, I have been reading the Mitford series. I actually picked up almost the entire series at a thrift store for like a couple of dollars. And I got them several years ago. And I tried reading this series in the summer and I was completely and absolutely bored by it. However, I picked it back up this winter and it is a cozy bedtime read. There is really no plot to these books. No pushing plot, in other words. Like, they're just cozy reads. So this is the second one. I just started it. I finished the first one a couple of nights ago. But the whole series is based upon the life of an Episcopalian priest who it lives in this cozy little town in North Carolina that's called Mitford, which maybe think Mayberry type town. And it's just all about him and his dealings with the townspeople and the little drama things that happen in their quaint little town. And it's just so soothing to me because winter is not my time of year. I am wired more. I just feel more anxious this time of year. I feel more blah. I really have to be mindful of, like, I can't read really suspenseful type books this time of year because they just bother me. It's just so weird. But I'm glad I know my body now, you know. But these kind of cozy reads are perfect. And I read it right before bed. And it's awesome. Absolutely love it. I don't know that you will. Like I said, when I tried reading it, when I tried starting it in the summer, I was so totally bored by it. I was like, I don't understand why people are recommending this to me. But now I get it because it like calms down my anxious mind because it's just so like calming and soothing. Anyway, okay. And now this book actually just came in the mail today. My husband and I are doing a no spend January, but I had some birthday money left over from November when my birthday was. And so that doesn't count, like gift money, like money that we have from Christmas or whatever, does not count in the no spend. So I gifted myself with my gift money this book, which is Stitching Through the Seasons. And this is by Yumoka Higuchi. And I actually have been looking at this book for a while, and I found it at a cute little shop in, where were we last? Virginia. Or where were we last? Virginia? Where were we last year in Virginia? Oh my goodness, Charlottesville. So there was a cute little shop there. I don't remember the name of it, but I went in and they had this book and I almost bought it, but I was like, I don't need it. I shouldn't. You know, we were on vacation, so we had been spending money and stuff. So I couldn't justify it. However, Amazon had it for sale. It was like $15 just last week. Maybe it was over the weekend. So I ordered it and I used my birthday money. But I don't embroider much this time of year. You will see more embroidery from me in the spring and summer. I tend to do more embroidery and my knitting gets a lot, like I don't do a lot of big garments in the summer. So I like smaller projects, socks and stuff, but then I also really enjoy doing embroidery that time of year. And this is just every month. It goes through every month of the year and it gives you a new little motif to embroider. That's June. So let us see what January is, because this is January. Okay, January is right here. So you get this one. All of these are patterns that you find in the back of the book. And then we're in February. Okay, so and then you go to the back and it gives you the embroidery floss recommendations as far as color. It gives you the little patterns that you can, like the drawings that you can copy. And then it also tells you what to do, like what kind of stitch to use for each thing. So I'm excited to use this to embroider something over the next coming months, probably not until closer to spring, or maybe not even until spring itself, because right now I'm just finding a lot of comfort in my knitting. Anyway, it's a beautiful little book. I hear that she has a lot of embroidery books that are very nice. And if you look at them on Amazon, they all have like 5 stars. So that's rare that you find so many books from the same author with 5 stars. But anyway, that just came today, so I was excited. So I haven't even given it a thorough look through yet, other than looking at it when I was at that store in Virginia, and then just online on Amazon. So I'm excited to sit down and look at that a little bit more in depth. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you wouldn't mind, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Okay, thank you so much, friends. Have a ton of fun with your knitting, and I hope you're enjoying whatever season you're in. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye. Wait, Mama's gonna film her podcast. Can I do that? Can you go lay down? No. We've already been outside for an hour and a half. You've eaten. Cute. Are you so cute? Look at that. You're so cute face. Are you going to sit on my lap? Tilly. Velcro dog. Definitely a Velcro dog. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. Am I your mama? Mm-hmm.